For all of those who have been in very traumatic, abusive romantic relationship, this is a great book to help you to heal. And read also Women Who Love Psychopaths, that you are going to learn about narcissists, I don't remember the other qualities that they talk about, egocentric and so on. So I invite you to come for a session for whatever is your challenge. One of my clients wrote a book, and I didn't know anything until she came for her fourth session about 6 months ago. And this is the book. And today was her book signing. So here is a picture that we took somewhere in Santa Monica today, Haley. And I'm just going to read to you what she wrote about her healing experience. She wrote a lovely phrase here when she signed the book, and she said, "I am beyond grateful to find you and receive your beautiful healing. Thank you for your gift of healing me. I have no clue what happened. She never told me. She wrote a nice review in Google Business or Google Map, but I really didn't know what she wrote here. She wrote 2.5 pages, no, 4.5 pages. So, is that she went through hell. And 3/4 of the book is about the emotional trauma, the pain and suffering that was emotional, mental, and physical. She went through cancer. I don't remember she telling me that when she came for sessions 2 years ago. And I'm going to read I read the book today. I read 3 chapters until I found the part that she talked about me. And I highlight things like this. My two minds, the conscious and unconscious, were locking in a brutal war. The way lost was just the beginning. I wasn't about him anymore. It was my own freedom, my own power, and the healing I haven't even known I needed. She went through 2 really toxic, brutal breakups, one with a husband and then with another boyfriend. And she tells everything. She went into addiction, into drugs, marijuana, and smoking, I don't know what. I eventually started fighting back. When my anger switch turned on for the first time, I could actually feel it. Anger, real and raw. I am just reading random things to see what she went through. As the drama with Billy kept piling up, anger trickled more and more into my reactions, especially with all the hurt he caused. But then, the moment I finally stood my ground, Billy did something unexpected. He told me I sounded just like a Greg Knight, which is her ex-husband, that I was treating him the way Greg Knight had once treated me, using the same words, the same tone, the same cutting force. So in her second relationship, she was suffering the effects of the very bad marriage. Hearing that hit me like a punch to the gut. I was acting like a very person who'd broken me. Where was this first time you shattered my heart? So she goes on, and one of the things that struck me, well, here she said, eating became a struggle. Not just the act of eating, but the entire experience. Hunger became this foreign concept, easily forgotten or outright absent, because when you are through that emotional pain, you don't feel like eating. I have many clients that came, and after the first session, one girl put a review that I didn't even know. She told me later, Carlos, it's the first time that I did in a week. She was going through a breakup. It became painfully clear that this was no ordinary breakup. And she talks about the panic attacks. I never heard something so deep. She had depression, she has panic attacks, she has everything. At some point, she says, other ideas flooded into my mind too. Natasha's post, Reiki, glow still haunted me. It's the best way. She'd been so calm, so serene, so unlike her usual self, that it felt like a neon sign flashing. Try this, meaning Reiki. And the book, Woman Who Loves Psychopaths. She found another Reiki practitioner, and she talks about that a little bit. But then she started talking about the healing that she had with me. And she says, I found a Reiki master in Torrance, offering sessions for a fraction of the usual cost. Was that unconventional? Because she found an offer that I had at that time. But I am a sucker for a deal, and honestly, it felt like fate was nudging me in this direction. I booked a session, and just like that, the excitement began to bubble. Carlos greeted me with a presence so calm and grounded that it felt like a stepping into a sanctuary. That's the way I want to keep my home. He was warm and welcoming, and before we even began, he walked me through the philosophy of Reiki in a way that was both poetic and practical. He told me stories about his years of experience, about clients who had walked in broken and left healed, some after just one session, other after a few. He even shared that he's been teaching Reiki for decades, helping others tap into the healing potential. His voice, his energy, and everything about him reassured me that I was in good hands. When we finally moved on the treatment room, next door right here, it was like stepping into a cocoon of serenity. Soft light bathed the room, and harmonious soundbad music played in the background, creating an atmosphere so soothing I felt my tension start to melt away. Carlos had thought of everything, propping my legs for ultimate comfort, tucking me in under a cozy blanket, and guiding me into the meditative state with his gentle voice. I could feel myself sinking into the bed, my body, my body softening as my spirit began to rest. As the session progressed, Carlos placed his hands over my chakras, one by one, moving through each energy point with care. I fell deeper and deeper into the meditation until I felt like I wasn't even in my body anymore. Then the tears started, silent, unbidden, and entirely necessary. Again, they poured from me like a flood, carrying with them pieces of the pain and toxicity I had been holding onto for far too long. And then something extraordinary happened. When he placed his hands behind my neck on the medulla oblongata and gently lifted my head, I was transported. In front of me appeared a blinding, radiant light, a light so pure and mesmerizing it felt like it was calling me in. I wanted to move towards it, to cross into the whatever peaceful realm it promised, but I couldn't. A powerful, unseen force held me back, tethering me in place. The sensation was like something out of a science fiction movie, the kind of moment where the protagonist is on the brink of stepping into a portal, but is caught in a struggle with the gravitational pull of two worlds. My entire being felt like it was vibrating, caught in a tug of war between the light and the force holding me back. It was surreal, like the most vivid dreams you ever had, but experienced while completely awake. Because people get into that state, meditative state, that they don't feel the body, but they are 100% conscious of everything that is happening around and inside of them. When the session ended, I woke up feeling like I'd been through a cosmic battle, and somehow came out the other side. My body felt lighter, my mind calmer, and my spirit freer. Like, whoa, whoa. Carlos and I sat down afterward to talk about what I'd experienced. And as I described the tears, the light, and the force pulling at me, I could see his eyes light up with understanding. Of course, and I enjoy when people tell me that because they are really experiencing their astral body, the experience of the astral and the causal body, the energy body and the consciousness body. It was the wildest thing I ever experienced, but it was also profoundly healing. That session didn't fix everything. It wasn't a magical cure, but it cracked open something inside me. It gave me a glimpse of what was possible, of the peace that may be waiting for me if I kept moving forward. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a spark of hope. As I spilled everything to Carlos, the tears, the vision, the tug of war between the light and the force holding me back, my intuition wasn't just whispering. It was screaming at full volume. You need to do it again. You have to cross into the light. It was as if the experience had planted a seed, and now my soul was begging for the next chapter. I tucked that thought away, knowing I wasn't quite done with this journey. Our conversation shifted, and before I knew it, Carlos dropped a bombshell that left me reeling. He mentioned a book, Women Who Love Psychopaths. I near choked. What? The same book my divorce attorney had recommended just recently. The one I just bought myself. The synchronicity of it all gave me chills, and she didn't read the book until this time yet. I felt like the universe was winking at me, nudging me to pay attention. And then Carlos, with his calm, knowing demeanor, added another layer of revelation. See, he explained how, in his experience, many women who endure deeply toxic or abusive relationships